It's a rainy spring morning, so I thought a good chance to do the third and final one of these talks, laying the groundwork for the gold mining metaphor at the end of Soundarananda, Canto 15, 2 verses in the Shikarini meter. And so to recap, the first talk laying the groundwork considered the meaning of dosha, which means fault or harms, singular or plural, in light of emptiness. When I first translated this verse 15 years ago, just as I was beginning to learn Sanskrit, I was relying quite heavily on previous translations and hadn't started studying emptiness. So when I go back to it now, I can see first thing, in light of emptiness, mustn't have a non-empty understanding of dosha. Shouldn't think of harms as being like the enemy that we've got to fight aggressively. So that will be related also to what I'm going to talk about in this third talk, which involves, in one way of understanding it, it involves melting the heart, or at least letting go of our habitual mind to other things and to aggressively go about sorting out those things we've othered. So that's the first thing, is to understand the meaning of dosha, harm, as in the verse where the Buddha is described as having crossed over the sea of harm, the ocean of harm, and how he crossed over the world too. Then in the second verse, also related with emptiness, I went back and reviewed how the Four Noble Truths are all about abandoning harms, staying out of harm's way, if you like, by the threefold means of Shila, Samadhi, Prajna, good practice, balance, stillness, and wisdom or understanding, and in particular understanding of emptiness. And so this third talk, I'm going to talk again, in light of emptiness, about one verbal root in particular, sham, and the related verbal root patch. Patch means to heat, ostensibly. That's how I translated it 15 years ago. It describes the goldsmith heating gold in the furnace. So I translated it as heat gold. E.H. Johnson translated it as heating gold, and Linda Coville translated it as heating gold. So if I refer back, E.H. Johnson, just as the goldsmith in this world heats in the fire and turns over repeatedly the gold after it has been gradually separated from the dirt by washing it with water. Perfectly literal, very useful to help understand the Sanskrit grammar and so on. But he translates pachati, as heats. Linda Coville followed suit. Just as in this world a goldsmith takes gold that has been washed with water and separated from the dirt in gradual stages, and heats it in the fire and turns it frequently. Again, with a characteristically nice turn of phrase, Linda Coville follows E.H. Johnson in translating pachati as heats. So when we go back and look at the word pachati in light of emptiness, and especially more conscious than before that bhavana means letting happen. In light of emptiness, bhavana doesn't mean meditating on things that exist. It means letting happen what happens emptily. So, with that in mind, and we go back to look at the word patch, it means, see, that as a rule, if you're studying Sanskrit, the verbal roots are really the key thing to understand, because just about every word is derived from a verbal root. So pachati is just the simple third person singular present from the verbal root patch. And patch is defined in the Mona Williams Sanskrit English Dictionary. The verbal root patch is to cook, bake, roast, boil. Then to digest. To digest. So that sense suggests already a more organic process. And then, following from that, to ripen, mature, bring to perfection or completion. With double accusative, to develop or change into. See, that's one translation of bhavana, is develop. Ananda Jyoti Bhikkhu translates bhavanam bhavehi as develop the meditation. So develop the meditation, which is friendliness. Medam Rāhula bhavanam bhavehi. I would translate that, let happen Rāhula, the practice of letting happen, the friendly practice of letting happen. Ananda Jyoti Bhikkhu, who's very much steeped in Pali and Sanskrit to a lesser extent, he translated, develop the meditation Rāhula, which is friendliness. So, you see, that starts us thinking, okay, so patch, it could mean to heat, or when we realise that this is a metaphor for the practitioner, the yogacharo. Sorry about the frog in the throat. Knees forwards and away. Must stay back in my own back, even though I'm excitedly gaining my end of drawing your attention to this very important connection between patch and sham. So, in light of emptiness, patch not only means to heat, but it also has some sense of, as a metaphor for how a practitioner practices developing the mind. What kind of development, what kind of digestion, what kind of organic growth is he talking about? Using the metaphor of a goldsmith in the fire, at the furnace. What is actually the goldsmith doing to the gold? He's melting it, isn't he? He's melting the gold. That's the word. In this, what we should translate patch as here, he's not only heat, but he's melting the gold. He's melting the gold. So then, how are we going to translate sham, whose importance is underlined by the fact it's shamayati, which is the causative of sham. The same word shamayati, he causes it to sham, is it in the fourth pada of both these verses. So we're going to, this is the last of the three works doing the groundwork. So the next talk we'll actually look at those two verses in light of emptiness, in light of the groundwork we've been doing, which really, for me, gives them a whole new level of meaning. So sham, the verbal root sham, is, I was awake to this because on a daily basis I recite the section on remembering what we want to happen while breathing in and out in at the end of the Rāhula Sutta. And in Pali, pasambayam kaya sankaran. I've given a lot of thought to what that means. And so pasambayam in Pali would in Sanskrit be prashamayam, causative of sham again, but with pra, which is emphatic, in front of it. But it's the same verbal root, sham. So the verbal root sham is defined to toil at, fatigue or exert oneself, to become tired, finish, stop, come to an end, rest, be quiet or calm, or satisfied or contented. And in the causative shamayati, to appease, allay, alleviate, pacify, calm, soothe, settle. Okay, so ostensibly that's what Asvaghosa is talking to, or the Buddha in Asvaghosa's poem is talking to Nanda about calming the mind. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Samadhi, calming the mind. Yes, but it's also about prajna. That's what we looked at last time. Shila, samadhi, prajna. Prajna means understanding in light of emptiness. So here's the definition of shamayati, which in light of emptiness opens up hidden meaning. To put an end, or to put to an end, or to put to death, kill, slay, destroy, remove, extinguish. Now, when we think again about the gold mining metaphor, what is the gold miner actually doing? Is he, somehow by putting the gold in the fire, is he calming it? Something never really added up. I mean, I followed E.H. Johnson and Linda Coville because I didn't really know any better 15 years ago, but I do know better now thanks to looking at the Rāhula Sutta. So E.H. Johnson translates, so the yoga adept cleanses his mind from the vices till it is completely separated from the sins in this world, and then he brings it to tranquility and concentrates it. So brings it to tranquility is Johnson's translation of shamayati. Shamayati. Brings it to tranquility. He's taken it as the causative of sham in the sense of calm. Linda Coville follows suit. So the practitioner of yoga, having first cleansed his mind of defilements, so that it is completely separated from the faults in this world, then makes it calm and concentrated. So again, she's talking about the practitioner making the mind calm. And in the Rāhula Sutta, similarly, Ananda Jyoti Bhikkhu follows the general understanding in the Pali tradition that pasambayam kaya sankaran is talking about some kind of calming effort, using the breath to calm. So kaya sankaran, I think Ananda Jyoti Bhikkhu translates it as the body process or the physical process, calming the body process. If that was true, you'd think sankaram would be in the plural, calming physical processes rather than the process. So something didn't sound right about his translation of that, calming the body process, calming the physical process. Because pasambayam kaya sankaran is singular. Kaya body, sankara in Sanskrit would be samskara, and pasambayam is in Sanskrit prashamayan, so causing it to sham. Of course, when in light of emptiness, what it really means is dropping off, dropping off mind. It's the same as in Japanese, shinjin datsuraku, dropping off body and mind. That's what it means. So, what you see, it's beautiful, isn't it, when you think about it like that? He's using the metaphor of the goldsmith melting the gold for us dropping off mind. Or, if you want to be a bit more poetic about it, appealing more to the heart than to the mind, because manas, which is the object here, means heart or mind. He's talking about melting the mind. So you could translate pachati as he smelts the gold, and shamayati as he melts the mind, or he melts the heart. But probably a better, more literal translation would be he causes the mind, he puts an end to the mind. See, emptiness. I've heard a lot of people talk recently about eschatology. I didn't even know what the word meant. It's one of those bullshit academic words like ontology means studying about existence, and soteriology means studying about salvation in practice, and then eschatology in theology, it means studying the end of the world, theories about the end of the world. So emptiness, or the teaching of what happens, grounded in causality, dependent arising. Emptiness is really the end of the world as we knew it. We knew it as existent things interacting with each other. We knew it in light of systems theory as a complex kind of tangle of things bumping into each other and getting entangled with each other. But emptiness just brushes that away. Invites us to abandon all views, all paradigms. In light of emptiness, what's happening is totally unfathomable, but we can be confident that it's grounded in causality. So it's the end of the world as we knew it. So in the Rāhula Sutta, I'll read it out in English to put it in context, but pasambayam kaya sankaran means, in light of emptiness, we drop off body as we knew it. It's not a question of that this body is here existing and there are disturbances going on so that we have to calm them. That's a non-empty understanding. In light of emptiness, the first task is to recognise that this body is empty. That's why the Rāhula starts, Ewametam yata bhutam samapanaya databan. This is to be seen, evam, thus, etam, this, ewametam yata bhutam, as happening. People translate it as it is or accurately. No. Yata bhutam means as happening. Ewametam yata bhutam samapanaya, with right wisdom, with true wisdom. Databan is to be seen. So the Buddha's talking there about rupa, the first of the 5 skandhas, rupa, the organised body, physicality. It's to be seen, netam mama, it doesn't belong to a me. Netam mama neshoham as me. This doesn't mean I am, as me I am. Neshoham as me. This doesn't mean I am. Namesho ata, a self of mine, this is not. Because this is happening. It's not a separate existent thing. It's happening thanks to the oxygen that the trees are giving us, thanks to gravity, showing us where up and down is. It's happening in an upward direction, hopefully. It's growing in light of emptiness. It's not a stuck existing thing. It's an organic unfolding. Ewametam yata bhutam samapanaya databan. Like this, it is to be seen with true wisdom as happening. Okay, so that's right at the beginning of the Rāhula Sutta. That's what the Buddha tells Rāhula right at the beginning. Then at the end, the sort of grand finale is Anapana Satim, thinking or remembering sati, anapana, while breathing in and out. And so that I'm not going to recite it in Pali because my pronunciation is not up to it. I'll get all the meter wrong if I haven't got if I haven't practiced it, copying somebody else. So I'll just read it in English, but the first line is Anapana Satim Rāhula Bhavanam Bhavehi. Bhavanam, the practice of letting happen. Bhavehi, imperative. So let happen, Rāhula, as a letting happen. Thinking or remembering. So thinking in the activity of breathing in and out, or remembering what you want to happen while breathing in and out. I'm not sure which one of those is more helpful. Let happen, Rāhula, as a letting happen, thinking in the activity of breathing in and out. Thinking in the activity of breathing in and out, Rāhula, when allowed to happen, when made much of, happens enormously fruitfully, with great benefits. And how, when it is allowed to happen, Rāhula, how, when it is made much of, does thinking in the activity of breathing in and out happen enormously fruitfully, with great benefits? Here, Rāhula, as a mendicant gone to the forest, or gone to the root of a tree, or gone to an empty place, one sits, with legs folded crosswise, directing the body up, having stationed thinking to the fore. One breathes out, yes, thinking, and breathes in, thinking. Breathing out long, one knows I am breathing out long. Or breathing in long, one knows I am breathing in long. Breathing out short, one knows I am breathing out short. Or breathing in short, one knows I am breathing in short. One trains like this, witnessing the whole body happening, I will breathe out. One trains like this, witnessing the whole body happening, I will breathe in. One trains like this, dropping off body as a fabricated reality, I will breathe out. One trains like this, dropping off body as a fabricated reality, I will breathe in. Okay, so this is translated in light of emptiness. Pasambayam, ostensibly it means calming, but really it means dropping off. Dropping off as a sankhara, as a confected thing, as a fabrication, as a fabricated reality. This is the key to everything. Because we're living, the world as we knew it is a fabricated reality. Fabricated, not least by the BBC, the British bullshitting corporation. Because the ignobles who've been in charge since the beginning of the British Empire, they've seen to it that we other reality. We believe in a fabrication, that reality is out there existing. That's realism. The Buddha's teaching is that no, reality, the Dharma, is happening. Not out there objectively. Evametam yata bhutam. This rupa. It's not self and it's not other. It's happening. It's so simple when you understand it, but we're conditioned exactly not to understand it. We're conditioned to believe in the science, to believe in climate change, to believe that Vladimir Putin is the embodiment of evil. It's all fabricated realities. One trains like this, dropping off body as a fabricated reality. I will breathe out. One trains like this, dropping off body as a fabricated reality. I will breathe in. And that, my friends, is the meaning of sham, shamayati, in the gold mining metaphor. Okay. I await the affirmation of Michael Latchford, because he's the one person that I think will understand the point I'm making there. Okay, to carry on. You see, once we understand that, it's like dominoes. The rest of of this part of the Rāhula Sutta just unfolds naturally, because with that understanding that this is not an existent body existing as a thing to itself, but it's happening thanks to the oxygen produced by the trees, then naturally one trains like this. Witnessing grace happening, I will breathe out. One trains like this. Witnessing grace happening, I will breathe in. One trains like this. Witnessing ease happening, I will breathe out. One trains like this. Witnessing ease happening, I will breathe in. Because the ease is thanks to gravity, and thanks to human evolution over millions of years. Sitting upright is easy. You don't have to do anything. Think your knees forward and away and just let it happen. One trains like this, witnessing the fabricating of a mind, I will breathe in. One trains like this, witnessing the fabricating of a mind, I will breathe in. So, chitta sankhara. So, you can translate it, the mind as a fabricated reality, or more dynamically, because the verb is pati samvedi, which means witnessing or experiencing. But if we're talking about witnessing what's happening, we can't witness the mind as a fabricated reality, because you can't witness a fabricated reality happening. A fabricated reality means something that doesn't happen, but is wrongly thought to exist. So that's why I've translated the fabricating of a mind. We can witness our own mind fabricating stuff. And then again, this is sham in the causative. Pasambayam. Pasambayam chitta sankharam asasi samiti sikkati. One trains like this, dropping off mind as a fabricated reality. I will breathe out. One trains like this, dropping off mind as a fabricated reality. I will breathe in. And that is what Asvaghosha is alluding to in the gold mining metaphor. Dropping off mind. Not calming mind, but in light of emptiness, dropping off mind. And that opens the door to prajna. So the metaphor is not only about samadhi, it's not only about shila, separating us from faults, and it's not only about samadhi, kind of casting aside faults, like a mountain casting aside the torrents of the rivers. The metaphor is also about prajna, using the top 2 inches to practice bhavana as the sort of the going beyond faults. And then again, the dominoes continue to fall. One trains like this, gladdening the mind, I will breathe out. Because this is, to understand this Dharma is something to rejoice in. One trains like this, gladdening the mind, I will breathe in. One trains like this, composing the mind, I will breathe out. One trains like this, composing the mind, I will breathe in. So first, drop off the mind, or melt the heart. Then, samadhi, samadaham chitam, means composing or balancing the mind. So we'll refer to this again when we come to study the verse themselves. It's shamayati, then samkshipati. Samkshipati. Samkshipati means he collects. So that's the calming part. But before the calming part, you've got the understanding of mind in light of emptiness. You don't try to calm a non-empty mind. You see mind in light of emptiness as happening, then you can really, it's amenable to be composed or balanced because it's empty. Like the gold can be worked because it's liquid, because it's melted. So if we think of it like that, then shamayati can mean, we can translate it dissolve the mind. Dissolve, pasambayam kaya sankaran will be dissolving mind as a fabricated reality, or dissolving mind as a fabrication. So dissolving, it might be the word that works best in the verse. But melting the heart also is, I think, suggests something, as I was saying before, when faults are our enemies, that we've got to sort them out, it leads to an aggressive, sharp sort of thing. Again, if it's all about having right posture, it's a kind of a hard-minded thing. You've got this object which is right posture. So, when I came to the Alexander work, that was my struggle always, not to have that mind, but to practice in a more friendly way. To think, Alexander said, you've got to talk to it nicely. So, for me to practice, to train as an Alexander technique, I had to learn, as it were, to melt, for the heart to melt, so you could approach sitting in a friendlier, kinder way. So it has that meaning as well. And then the dominoes continue. One trains like this, freeing the mind, I will breathe out. One trains like this, freeing the mind, I will breathe in. So it's seeing body and mind as empty. We drop off body and mind, and then we can practice bhavana in the sense of letting the mind, we can direct the mind freely. This is also in the gold mining metaphor. One trains like this, reflecting on dispassion, I will breathe out. One trains like this, reflecting on the dispassionate, I will breathe in. So again, once the mind is free, we can reflect, we can look into things. Anupasi, reflecting, looking into, exploring, investigating. The world as we knew it has ended, and now we can have a look around in the world as it's been revealed to us in light of emptiness. One trains like this, reflecting on stopping, I will breathe out. One trains like this, reflecting on the stopping, I will breathe in. One trains like this, reflecting on letting go, I will breathe out. One trains like this, reflecting on the letting go, I will breathe in. And so the Rāhula Sutta comes to its end. The Buddha praises bhavana. When allowed to happen like this, Rāhula, thinking in the activity of breathing in and out, when made much of like this, happens enormously fruitfully with great benefits. Through thinking in the activity of breathing in and out, Rāhula, when allowed to happen like this, when made much of like this, whatever last out-breaths and in-breaths are breathed, they also are witnessed even as they cease. They do not go unwitnessed. The Glorious One said this, and Venerable Rāhula was transported, rejoicing in what was said by the Glorious One.